Guys, it's me again. Let's sort it out with Ma. Have you been applying for jobs and you haven't been receiving any information from the employers, the agencies? How have you been applying for that job? Do you just put your CV out there like that? How have you been selling yourself? Remember have you watched my last video on how you can do a proper CV? So if you have done a very good CV and you're still not getting any response from the employers, what do you think might be wrong? It could be maybe your CV is not really very good, or maybe your CV is good, but there is one thing that could be lacking, which is your cover letter. Yes, some companies really require that cover letter, whereas some, it doesn't really matter. Especially if it's a graduate job, they require that cover letter. Most graduate jobs, they require that cover letter because it's in that cover letter that will enable you sell yourself very well. Your CV number one and your cover letter. So that brings us to the topic of today, how to nail a good cover letter. Let's dive into it. Don't go anywhere. A cover letter. This will give you a complete guide on how to write a cover letter. Let's dive into it. You know, your CV is very important. That is one of the most important things when you are applying for a job. Getting your cover letter right is just as important as perfecting your CV. So you know how you actually get your CV detailed, how you put in everything to make sure your CV stands out. The same way, you should also make your cover letter to stand out. Your cover letter should zoom in on your key skills and experiences you've got on your CV. On your CV, you actually listed most of your skills. Then on your cover letter, this is where you have the opportunity to zoom in on your main key skills. Apparently on your CV, you have various skills in it. But on your cover letter, you choose the key skills that is required by the employer and zoom in on it, explain it in detail together with your experiences. Your cover letter should be bespoke to every application, meaning that you should tailor your cover letter according to the job. When you see a job application, a job advert, make sure you study the job description, the job specification perfectly and see what is required. From there, you can now tailor your CV to that application. That is why you cannot use the same cover letter for every job, because every company have their own way of describing job or giving job specification. So you have to make out time to make sure that your cover letter is tailored to that particular job. Before writing your cover letter, you should do your research. You can't just start writing cover letter blindly. Carrying out a research is a crucial part of many aspects of job hunting. Because if you don't do the research, then you find out that you're adding so many unnecessary things onto your cover letter. But doing that research will help you write down the most important key things that is required for your cover letter. Let's look at the key things you should research before writing your cover letter. Building up a good knowledge of the company and industry helps you to tailor your cover letter for each company you apply to and shows your passion for the job and sector. From your research, you should be able to find out who will be reading your letter, And the next one, the skills and experiences mentioned in the job specification. When you read that job specification and the skills, you should be able to tailor your cover letter to those skills and those experiences mentioned in the job specification. From your research as well regarding the company, you should be able to know the company and its culture. Many companies have different cultures, how they operate. You need to actually know this, and that is, you have to do deep research, detailed research on the company to be able to understand their culture, which you should reflect on your CV, on your cover letter. And if you're called, this should also reflect during the interview. You should be able to know their competitors and market position. You should be able to know the sector and any recent news about the company, and see how you can put this on the cover letter and possibly during the interview. You should also understand the organization's aims and objectives. Now, let's look into the basic format of a cover letter. There is a basic format for writing a cover letter that you can follow each time. This will definitely make life easier for you. However, every letter you write should be tailored to the specific job role or company you're applying for. So, in essence, your cover letter should address the following. Which position interests you and why? You have to think about, because the company might advertise in various job roles, so you should be able to know the position that interests you and why does that position interest you. You should think about your most relevant skills and experiences. On your cover letter, you don't need to add so many experiences on there on your skills. Just look for the relevant ones that is mentioned on that job specification and put it on your CV. Then you should think about how your skills and experiences can benefit the employer and expand it on your cover letter. Then always have a call to action. That is requesting for an interview towards the end of your letter. Now, let's go over to see how you can structure and write a good cover letter. Your cover letter should be written like any other formal business letter, even if you're emailing it. Number one, you have to start with your address and contact details in the top right hand corner. Just the way you write formal letters, that is the way you should also address your cover letter. And make sure your contact details are sensible email addresses. Like this address here won't make you look very professional. So you should be able to get a good email that will make you look professional. For instance, it could be your first name and last name together and then at whatever email provider you are using. Then you should then follow this with the address of the company you're applying for and the date further down and on the left hand side. So let's look at the paragraphs. Basically, your cover letter should have paragraphs, and a good cover letter, you could come up with 4 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, what should it entail? Your opening paragraph should be short and sweet, made up of 3 things. Why are you writing the letter? The position you're applying for, how you found out about the position, for example. I'm writing to apply for the role of whatever title it is in response to an advert I saw on. There you have to mention the name of the job site you found the job. Please find my CV attached. This should be on your first paragraph. Now on to the second paragraph. The second paragraph should be about you, expanding on your CV and giving a brief summary of any relevant skills or education you have. Remember, your cover letter shouldn't be a copy of your CV. you should take your most notable achievements, explain a bit more about them, and then show how these skills could benefit the employer. Mirror the skills mentioned and the phrasing that is used in the job description. And number 3, your third paragraph is your chance to show your knowledge of the company and the sector and go into detail about why you want to work for that company specifically. You should state how you can help the company and add to their success, as well as why you will fit in with the company culture and core values. Then the last paragraph will be where you end your letter with a call to action. As you're hoping to secure an interview, let them know your availability for a call back. If you plan to follow up with a phone call, say so. If you plan to wait for a response, close with, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank them for taking the time to read your letter and sign off. Okay, sending a cover letter online. You know, these days we can just send our cover letter online because of the technology. Unlike before, you have to write it and post it. But now technology has made things easier. So, in that regards, when you're sending your cover letter, you have to send your cover letter as an attachment. That doesn't mean you can't send it via email. You can actually do it via email, but it's best to send it as an attachment, and make sure you save the letter with a PDF as a PDF file extension. Reason being that if you use Word document to save it or page document, then the person may not be able to open it. For instance, if you are using a Mac and Mac uses page and you save it with a page and send it to someone who doesn't use Mac, obviously the person wouldn't be able to open it. The same thing goes with a Word document. Some people don't use Microsoft. So if you send it as a Word document, the person receiving it might not be able to open it. You're saved, which leaves you with the safe bet of saving it as a PDF extension. With this format, anybody should be able to open your cover letter. How long should your cover letter be? I know so many people ask this question every now and then. Your cover letter shouldn't be longer than a single A4 page. This can be tricky, I know, because maybe this is the opportunity for you to say so many things that you didn't say on your CV. But please try to keep it very short, not more than A4 page. It can also be tricky because especially if you want to impress the employer with all your skills and experiences. But the truth is that they simply wouldn't be interested in reading a 3,000 word essay. Even if they were, they probably just wouldn't have the time. So it's just best to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Remember these 3 S: short, sweet, and simple. Now, let's talk about tailoring each cover letter. Each cover letter should be tailored to the company specifically and the role it is for. I've said this before and I will keep saying it. Don't be lazy when you're doing your CV and your cover letter. You have to take time to make sure it is tailored to the company and the role you are applying for. Avoid vague and generic phrases. Phrases like motivated, creative, effective, reliable, specialized, passionate, dedicated, experienced, ambitious, proactive, and so on and so forth. They've all seen it. They all know. So try as much as you can to avoid all those vague and generic phrases. Find the name of the hiring manager so as to personalize it. If you really can't get hold of their name, then you should instead start the letter with "Dear Sir," or madam. But remember, if you don't know their name, ensure you sign off your letter with yours faithfully instead. Read the job description so you can pick which of your skills or experiences to reference, and try to mirror some of the phrases they use in the job description. Illustrate your skills with employee examples to show why you're the ideal candidate, as each company and role will be different. You will probably find that you're using different examples on each letter. Having done your research, you should also be able to talk specifically about the company in great detail. Refer to their values or specific campaigns they have run that you enjoyed. This way, they will know that you took the time to learn about their company and you're genuinely interested in them and the role. Okay, let's get down to marketing yourself. Yes, your CV is one of your marketing tools. Likewise, your job letter, your cover letter. Imagine yourself as a commodity and sell yourself to the company. Then demonstrate your knowledge of the company and the sector so that you can effectively explain why you'll be beneficial to their company. As well as listing your skills and qualifications, you could also demonstrate your interpersonal skills through talking about social activities and clubs. All these aspects should help you build a case for why you're going to add the success of the company. All these aspects should help you build a case for why you're going to add to the success of the company. No employer will want to employ someone who is not interested in the company, interested in growing the business. Every company, organization out there are there to make money. So they want to hire someone that will add value to their business and help them make more money. Let me give you top tips for success. You need to keep it short. It may seem difficult with so much information to include, but you need to keep your cover letter short, sweet, and simple. Because recruiters will give each letter just 20 to 30 seconds of their time. They don't have that much time to waste. There are so many applications out there. You're not the only one that's looking at the applications. Number 2, don't just rewrite your CV. The point of a cover letter is to expand upon your CV, not to rewrite it. Your CV should be attached to accompany your letter. So make sure you just put most relevant examples and give details of your achievements on your cover letter. Sign by hand. If you're sending the letter in the post, like old school method, then you should sign the letter by hand before you send it off. It adds a personal and more professional touch. Number 4, sending online. Macs and PCs haven't quite learned to work in total harmony yet. And the last thing you want is the recruiter being unable to open your document. Instead, save your CV as a PDF file, like I said before. And then, with this format, anyone, anywhere should be able to open your document. Number 5, proofread. I know so many people, they rush and they don't proofread, they just send it out. Once you've written your cover letter, you need to check for mistakes and perhaps even have someone else read it over too. Recruiters aren't going to take you seriously if you've made silly spelling or grammar mistakes. You can use softwares like Grammarly and check your mistakes. At least Grammarly is free to start to an extent. That should help you correct all the grammatical errors. Number 6, avoid cliches. Each letter should be personal, so make sure you avoid cliched phrases that recruiters have read 1,000 times. Phrases like, I'm a team player, I'm a motivator, I can do this, I can... No. They have seen it all, they have read it all, so avoid it as much as possible. Use numbers. If you can, use numbers or statistics to illustrate your points, as is a nice way to quantify your results and add to the format of the letter. And be creative, okay? Writing cover letter doesn't just have to be boring. You can be a bit creative in your approach, especially if you're going into a creative industry or job role. Play around your layouts and formats, just the way I played around this my PowerPoint. At least it's very clear, it looks professional. The same way you should play around with your CV, your cover letter, even your CV. As long as all the important information is in there and the layout isn't distracting, have fun with it. Then the last but not the least, use bullet points. This is not always necessary anyway, but depending on the format you've chosen or the job role you're applying for, bullet points could be an effective way of demonstrating your points and adding to the layout. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me and I'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you. That brings us to the end of the topic today. I hope you learned something from it. If you like this video, please smash that like button and I will see you all next time. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel and share it to people, because there are so many people who require this information. I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much and bye-bye.